to say that James Franklin and Penn State laid a big-time egg Saturday in a shocking, and I would say shocking, loss to UCLA in the Rose Bowl uh, against a previously winless and really bad UCLA team that's in the midst of turmoil and firing a head coach, firing a coordinator, and having to figure this out on the fly. What is the problem with Penn State under James Franklin? And why does it keep happening? This time, not losing a big game to a good opponent, which they did last week, to stubbing their toe against a really bad team in UCLA. Reminder to subscribe, like, and share so that you don't miss any of our football content. Help us grow. Check us out. Well, it was an embarrassing loss. And let me first start off by saying it's easy for fans. Oh, fire James Franklin. At a $15 million buyout, are you going to chip in the money to do it if you're a Penn State fan or anyone else for that matter? No, probably not. I wouldn't expect you to. Crazy if you did. But this is part of the problem when you get hoodwinked into signing coaches to these type of deals. Look, the going rate for coaches are good. If you've got a great one, you need to pony up the money to keep them. James Franklin never has been, nor will he ever be great. At nothing except one thing. He markets himself, and he's a big-time self-promoter. Involved in a lot of coaching searches in my career, including some in recent times where James Franklin's name gets thrown in the media, and I happen to know firsthand he's not even on their list. I mean, USC, Texas A&M, and you name it. A job comes open, James Franklin gets his agent, working behind the scenes, some friends in the media, puts his name out there. Why? It's to give him cover. It's to tell the Penn State fans over the years, hey, you see, they love me, and help the administrator. Hey, he's wanted. That's the old trick in the world, self-promoting. Good on him as a self-promoter. The reality is it covers up a lot of what his struggles have been. Look, the guy has been a good recruiter. Let's go back to Vanderbilt. I thought he changed the culture there pretty well, but he did it in a little bit of fool's gold matter when got some programs that were not very good, and he upset some teams. And look, certainly did the right thing by jumping Vanderbilt to go back home, that part of the country where he's from in Pennsylvania, to what was a dream job for him at Penn State. Good recruiter at Penn State. He's recruited well. There are times where the talent evaluation of his roster and maybe some of the guys he's recruited hasn't been as good, but for the most part, he sold that program very well in the recruiting sense. They have some holes in the roster over the years. They have had it. This is a good-looking team. It's a team with a lot of talent. The issue was not talent against UCLA. If you look at it, the history of James Franklin is if his teams are as good or better, or good or even with the opponent that he's playing, he doesn't fare well. If he's significantly better talent-wise, he wins those games most of the time. In this case, that was not the case. He's far superior talented than UCLA, and they laid an egg. The UCLA onside kick, they were caught napping. They were down 20 points. Defensively, I mean, they put in a lot. They put in a lot to spend money on this roster. They spent a lot of money to bring Jim Knowles in. That team wasn't prepared. You could tell they were not emotionally involved in this game like you would expect. They seemed to be really at a loss. Missed assignments, out of position. They've got 2 losses now. Got Ohio State, which I don't see them winning. Number 8, Indiana. That's a better coach team. I mean, Franklin's 1-10 against Ohio State. Okay, and a third loss is going to eliminate him from the playoffs, if not already. This is supposed to be a different team. a really good quarterback. As good a running back room as there is in college football. Jim Knowles, great coordinator coming from Ohio State, coming off a national championship. Yeah, Tyler Warren, Abdul Carter left, but they've got veteran players, lots of talent. It's just, you look at some of the moves. Drew Allar's very good, very talented, but Drew Allar's not played well. He's not well coached. Meanwhile, his backup at Penn State, Bo Pribula, who moved over to Missouri, has shined thus far this year. If you look at it, Will Levis left, got better. The problem at Penn State is the development of players. They have guys who are talented. But as a scout, when we look at Penn State players, in a lot of cases, they're very talented. But their football acumen is a little behind others. How to play certain schemes, adjustment, recognition, it's not nearly as good. The development as players are not nearly as good. That is not getting your talent level to play up to its capability. So, yes, if he has talent that's superior to your team, he'll beat you. That's why he goes 10-2 every year and he goes into the playoffs, or he goes to a big bowl game, and usually he gets exposed when he plays in Ohio State or Michigan or something. The defense has been pretty strong this year, but who have they played? Look, this is again part of the MO. Hey, we're 10-2. That's what they play Villanova and Fairhope State. I mean, just they played nobody. They were completely unprepared against Oregon. They seemed up for the game, but they certainly were not adjusting to the Oregon speed very well. And they were just completely flat and unprepared against UCLA after the Oregon game. Look, it's the new world. Big Ten is coast to coast, right? You better be prepared to go across country after a tough loss and get your team ready to play. That's leadership. That's coaching. That's what James Franklin has not done. This is a really good team. This team missing the playoffs is a shocker to most people. Now, I'm not shocked because I've not been all that respectful of James Franklin's coaching. But talent-wise, this is a team that you would put in the category of the top 3 or 4 teams in the country talent-wise. But just haven't happened. Under Franklin, Penn State has lost 6 games to a team that finished the season with 500 or worse records. 3 in 2014 in his first year, 2 in 15, 2021 against Illinois. A year ago, Penn State was 1/2 away from reaching the national championship, but they came up short against a good team. Franklin is 4 in 21 against top 10 teams and 1 in 18 against top 10 Big Ten teams. It's not going to get it done. And he has made all the changes, coordinator after coordinator after coordinator. The buck stops with him. They've got a problem at Penn State because they can't afford to buy him out, and they can only hope that somebody is foolish enough to want to bring him and buy him out, because I think Penn State is in a position, if they get a good coach, to be amongst the elites with Ohio State and Michigan. But with James Franklin, they are the short end of the stick. There's no question. And this is not like, Michigan under the first couple of years under Jim Harbaugh, where he eventually builds it slow build. This has been a methodical, piecemeal, 1 year it's one thing, 1 year it's another thing. James is not a strong football guy. Look, maybe they can pull an upset against Ohio State. They certainly have the talent to do it. But history says it won't happen. Franklin signed a gigantic 10-year guaranteed contract in 2021. It was shocking to people in the industry. Penn State was committed to him. And, quite frankly, Franklin willing to stay that long. But you know what? A 10-year guaranteed contract kind of makes you want to stay. I think that is the biggest problem. They got snookered into thinking they were going to lose him. Well, we better not lose him. It makes us look bad. The biggest thing you could hope if you're Penn State is that somebody takes him away, that you do lose him, because you can hire better. Got a real problem there, and I don't envy their situation. I do feel bad for everyone involved. Reminder again to subscribe, like, and share, and check us out at LandryFootball.com. Appreciate your feedback. Give us your comments. It's the quickest way to help us grow is spread the word. Appreciate you joining us.